Goats and yoga. That seems like a pretty good idea. Of course, a lot of things are a pretty good idea for the legendary basketball wife, derelict mother of her firstborn, Jackie Christie. All right. Yes, Diva Loves. Miss Sophia the Diva has decided that, at least for this season 7 opener so far, I will be reviewing Basketball Wives, formerly known as Basketball Wives LA, seeing how there is now only one franchise in existence. Now, I have always kind of followed this franchise. I'm not one of those people that consistently watched. It is not something that you will ever find or I have ever DVR'd. But because I was waiting for the next round of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, which I will be reviewing after this video, I decided just to take a gander at these basketball ladies. I think I want to unpack Jackie Christie towards the end because her behavior is just ridiculous. So I'm not going to completely cover this entire episode because I checked out at certain points because it's like, I don't know what's going on. It's just I'm familiar with the cast because every now and then I have watched it and just have been shocked and appalled by some of the things that come out, especially with regards to Jackie Christie. And I think it's really sad. But Jackie says she been out here getting her spiritual life and balancing her chakras, hanging out with the Buddhist and all of this, and she's decided that she's down for whatever yellow. So she decides to try and take Malaysia, whom I'm not familiar with at all. I couldn't tell you who she was married to, whatever, but I know she comes from a family. And she emphasized and droned on and on throughout this episode. So please bear with me. But either way, they go to goats and yoga. Now, I had heard about goats and yoga, but it was up at some farm like in freaking Oregon that was doing it outside. And even then I was like, I like yoga and I like goats, but to me, the two just don't go together. They just don't. It's disgusting, as a matter of fact. And I'm like, what are the ratings that the LA food and safety, or even, I mean, how are they rated? How do you go to a yoga studio and the goat defecates and pisses like right there on your yoga mat while you're in downward dog? I mean, or child's pose. Like, how they work? But either way, Jack claimed she was gay for Malaysia. Was like, I ain't getting near that shit. I'm cool. Oh my God, it's Skittles poop. And excuse the scratching. As you know, I have a little Shih Tzu named Miss Pumpkin. Sometimes she appears in the videos, but whenever her mother decides to do videos, sometimes because she thinks that she's my mom or my boss lady, she decides to do distracting things like this because that's what Shih Tzus do. Anywho, back to the story at hand. So Malaysia and Jackie are hanging out, and this is not going to work for Jackie because the goat jumped on Jackie. And I love goats. I really do. And I really love them more so now. I've kind of always wanted a pet goat, but unfortunately I had a friend, my friend Ariel, who passed away some years ago. And she had a thing for goats. So I was like, girl, are those goats on your desk? She was like, yeah, I rescued them from some dude that was just going to give them away. And so I just took them off his hands. So at her parents' estate in Rolling Hills Estate at that time, she had them there and they would like basically cut the grass. So there was no need for landscapers. Anywho, rest in peace, Ariel. I still miss you and I think about you sporadically. But let me get back to the drama. In addition, Jackie also shares with Malaysia that her and Doug watch porn. Now, I've watched this enough to know that Jackie has a very perverse mind and is very vocal about it. But for me, when she talks like that, it makes me say that she's almost trying to force people to believe that her and Doug are sexually active and that they're into each other. Quite frankly, I think they're just into beard for a beard game, if you ask me. Because Jackie always talking about people getting naked, and then she said that Doug's fantasy was, I guess they were talking about who's your fantasy porn person or who would be your person, and she was like, it's okay to share, we can talk about it, and he said that it would be Malaysia in a blonde wig. What friend tells another homegirl, hey, my husband has sexual fantasies about it. And what wife is okay with that? That makes no sense, Jackie. Why don't you just fess up and just admit to the fact that you want Malaysia's box? That's just crazy. Malaysia, I guess, I don't know her. She annoyed my spirit. I don't know anything about her. If anybody wants to comment and fill me in on Malaysia's story, or, I can always just go research it, because I researched Jackie's story full-fledged, because we saw it on TMZ and on the Shade Room and everywhere when her grandson was in need of medical attention and Jackie didn't lift a finger to provide some, is the story that was conveyed to us by her daughter. So anyway, Malaysia's cousin, Byron Scott, his new boo, some lady named Cece, which the ladies don't seem to like. I'm like, what's her background in this story? Y'all mad because he left his wife for 29 years for her? I mean, maybe it'd been over. Maybe it'd been a facade. Nowadays, with these couples that break up and we're all shocked and heartbroken, I'm just like, sometimes all that glitter ain't gold and people pretend well. Then we have Jennifer. Jennifer annoys me. All I know about Jennifer is the fact that Tim Norman from Sweetie Pies and her had gotten together and it didn't end well. And according to what I read on TMZ, the producers of the show was trying to get him to get engaged to her. And I'm just like, I know this is unscripted reality, but if somebody is not in love with somebody like that, why would you try to force him to marry her? So he ended up being like, I'm cool on you. Next thing you know, she has flattened his tires and bust the windows out of his car and stalking him. But she tells a different story, that he was abusive. First of all, girl, Tim been to prison. I think Tim did 10 years in prison. I don't believe you. And I really don't get you either. And now you and Evelyn are friends, and according to my understanding, because that's why Tammy walked out on Jennifer during a conversation, was the fact that her and Evelyn don't even get along, and now all of a sudden y'all best friends. And she's like, I need her by my side so she can, be with me and help me. And I was like, does she have a thick tongue? Like, what's going on with Jennifer's articulations? She just seems a little loopy to me. I just was disturbed by her. And so anyway, her storyline for this episode was, she was, oh my God, I pray to give me a temporary strain so I can get away from him. Oh my God, Evelyn, hold my hand, I'm so scared. I'm like, Evelyn, a bold friend, because if he that scary and stalking you, girl, I would be like, I'll get in the car and ride alongside you while you walk little Toto over there, but I'm not, no. That kind of lets you know right there, Tim ain't coming nowhere. But then again, Evelyn ain't no punk, okay? She will whoop a bitch ass, okay, from what I understand. And needless to say, Tammy is not cool with the fact, Tammy Roman is not cool with the fact that Jennifer all of a sudden is all into Evelyn. But yet a couple of years ago, y'all were hating each other. And Evelyn, from what I understand, also prevented Jennifer from being on the show as a full cast member. And I guess last season she was a friend of the show, or whatever. So I don't know. Tammy is still Tammy. Tammy has really redeemed herself, because I kind of have never really liked Tammy since her performance on The Real World, when she got that comedian dude kicked out of the house claiming that she didn't feel comfortable, and I just felt like it was too much. And also just the fact that she was always into craziness, like getting her jaws locked shut. But she's really redeemed herself over the years. I really enjoy her Bonnet Chronicles. She's really funny and I like it, and she's booked and working, and she's finally going to give marriage another try to her young boo that she's been with. But one of the things that concerned me is that Tammy did not look healthy. Like, she looks sick. Like, her face, and I don't know if it's because, doesn't she have a heart condition or something? I don't know. She just didn't look healthy, and I'm not trying to speak ill of Tammy at all. Not at all, because like I said, I enjoy her Bonnet Chronicles. I get a kick out of them. I like how someone has taken something where people be talking about, oh my God, she's wearing a bonnet during this video. Yeah, Thick Chick Vlog. She quick to have on 100. She be killing me. Speaking of which, I need to check on her. Check out her page and see what's going on because I always loved her commentary. So anyways, she's on Wild and Out. She's here. She's there. Her and her boo are getting ready to get married. So I think that's pretty awesome. I think it's been long enough. Y'all have been together. And he seems to make her happy. But Tammy, if there's something going on, I just pray that you're okay. But, oh, and Jennifer, I'm glad you got that restraining order, and I hope they make it permanent since Tim is so dangerous. I just believe that Tim values his freedom more than he does dealing with a nut job, because you strike me as a little throat and not wrapped too tight. You remind me of somebody I know, actually, and I'm just like, that could be trouble. And by the way, when I was tweeting during the show, during the brief moments that I was like, oh, it's not anybody using BBWLA anymore. It's just Basketball Wives because it's only one franchise, I guess, left. Okay, so there's a Mardi Gras party, Beads and Boobs. Byron Scott's, I think that's his name. Is it Byron Scott? Brian Scott? Y'all, I don't know, because like I said, I really don't watch this show, but I kind of ended up watching it. It kind of intrigued me, considering I know some of the backstories on some of the people. So at this party, Cece seems to be a source. Hey, look at Cece. She got her boobs out. Oh, my God. Malaysia, like, it's nothing like better than being with family. And da-da-da-da. I was like, you are so annoying. What is it about you? Maybe I just don't care about you and your family like that, girl. Is that your only storyline? Like, where your man? Like, what's going on? But all the ladies, a couple of them had comments about the fact that Cece's boobs were out. I don't know what that was all about. And I think there's like there's 4 parties to from Malaysia's family. You know, the 2 ladies are through marriage and her 2 male cousins. So before that, Jackie is out with her favorite child, her favorite daughter, and her granddaughter. The granddaughter really seems to love her grandma, but Chantel is like, that's because her grandmama be giving her all these treats and cookies and pies and stuff that she keeps stuffed in her purse. And that's probably why she liked her. I was like, damn. They decide, she asked her daughter, will she be her +1 at this party? And they go. Now, the trouble at being at this party is like, Jackie's like, ooh, if I see that Evelyn, oh my God, I can't believe what Evelyn did to my family. I can't believe how she got my daughter against me and da-da-da-da. Jackie, the drama that you were trying to cause at this party would have been the perfect sketch for Dave Chappelle to do when Keeping It Real goes wrong. Evelyn ain't thinking about you. Evelyn did nothing wrong. We get you don't like Evelyn, and you don't like the fact that you are ashamed, in other words, that your dirty little secret is out. Your daughter, and the ladies, I remember last season, they were all like, we didn't even know that she had grandkids. And they barely knew that you had an older daughter, is from what I gathered when I was watching, because people were just like really shocked. And you're mad at Evelyn because Evelyn donated $3,500 to a GoFundMe that was set up for Takari to get medical treatment for her for her son. Now, what fascinated me about the story, though, is did the daycare not have insurance or something like that where they can't cover, the medical expenses because it's their fault that the child was injured by this bottle warmer or whatever. But from what I gathered, Jackie just looking for a reason. And so Chantel was like, I'm going to go introduce myself to Evelyn. And Jackie, you would have thought that she was just going to die if Chantel left her side. She's going to take my daughter. She's going to take my daughter. She acts like Evelyn just wreaked havoc in her relationship with her oldest daughter overnight. And that somehow magically Evelyn takes Jackie's kids and turns them against her. No, the truth of the matter is that your kids know your ass is batshit crazy. I watched a clip from season 2 when Chantel was talking to Lauren Gavon about how her mother does their oldest sister and how because the sister is dark skinned, a little heavier set. As a matter of fact, she said that her sister was homeless at one time for 3 months and she didn't even know it. Doug Christie used to have a relationship. As a matter of fact, he adopted her pretty much. But even once Jackie shut that off, I don't know if Jackie got everybody in the house scared of her or what. I mean, she seems a bit intimidating and brutal. But I'm just like, you can't get mad at Evelyn for helping. And just like Evelyn said, well, did you call out, what was his name, Steve Barnes or whomever, all these other people in the industry that contributed. And like Takari said, it wouldn't have mattered if it was $3.50. My mother still would have been upset because Evelyn gave me the money. And so Chantel talks to Evelyn, and it was a pleasant conversation. And honestly, I think that Chantel just really just wants to, get to know other people. And she probably has this thought process like I do. I will find out if someone is as bad as what you say they are. And so I don't think that Evelyn meant any harm. I think Evelyn as a mother just felt like this child needs help, and it's a sin and a shame that her own mother won't help her. But it does happen, and I've told this story before. When I worked at the child support office for a couple of months after I graduated from undergrad, I was temping, and we had even mothers that were supposed to be paying child support. One lady came in there and said, I don't understand why I have to take support from my other kids to take care of this one, because that's your child. Regardless of whether they don't share the same man, the same parent, that's still your child. You had them, and you are the parent that makes the most money, and you are the one that has to provide some sort of support. What the hell is wrong with mothers? And you would think that honestly, it would be like, I carried this child for 9 months. This should be the most precious thing. I should do everything to protect these relationships, regardless of whether I'm not with their father and I end up with somebody else, protect those relationships. But some mothers just aren't into that. And Jackie is one of those. And she's also has a problem with color. I mean, Jackie, you ain't that light, okay? You not. Doug is light bright. Chantal, but she's a pretty girl. Shanny's a pretty girl, as you call her. Shanny, don't go upstairs. Shanny. I was like, oh my God, this is just awful. But I mean, it's just really sad that and then you act like nobody sees you. You act like you can just twist the story. Your daughter, your own favorite child. And Jennifer had me cracking up because she was like, oh, who's that Jackie's with? Oh, that's her. That's the one. That's the one she likes. That's the daughter she likes. People ain't stupid. They see you for your works and your deeds, honey. You ain't fooling nobody. And like Shanny said, I don't even really have, at one point, I didn't even have a relationship with my sister. And that's really sad. I'm so glad I have a relationship with my siblings. Because like I'm the only child between my parents, and I have a great relationship with all of my siblings. I have a brother who's, how old is James? 31, and I have, that's between my mom and my stepfather, and then I have 2 other siblings between my dad and my stepmom, or as I refer to them as my other mom, my other dad, because I just don't believe in step parents like that. But either way, relationships between daughters and moms often can be conflicted. And I'm just like, I guess you decided that you really want to move on and make Takari a distant memory with your new family. That's what you wanted. And you found out that you just couldn't do that because they say she sent her away to be raised by the grandmother and really didn't provide any type of financial support. I'm like, what mother does that? Like, who? Like, child, I'm gonna tell you something. Jackie, and I'm glad they showed a clip in the upcoming previews that this heifer gonna be in therapy, and she was talking about her daughter, and the therapist said, you don't think the fruit falls too far from the tree? Jackie, I'm glad you're in therapy, and I hope that therapy helps you work out whatever it is, issues, because you have issues. You have issues that are deeply rooted, and you poisoned yourself against your own children. Shanny said you wouldn't even allow her to really hang out with her own dad. Like, who does that? Like, and y'all all live in the same house. This video has gone on way longer and I've invested too much time, but Jackie's behavior really disturbs me because I can't stand moms that do their other children differently just because I got a new husband and I really don't want you in my life. You were a mistake. That's ugly. That's ugly. And Jackie, you will have to answer for that. And you kind of are, because you got lamb basted and roasted throughout the blogs. So Shawnee O'Neal is doing what I fantasize about doing, but I just don't have the money. I just don't. I really would like to get into farming cannabis. It could be a very lucrative thing. I don't smoke pot or eat it or anything like that, but it just seems like a lucrative business to be in because pretty soon, I think nationally, the feds are going to legalize it. I mean, by 2018 in November, when the new Congress is elected and impaneled, there's really not going to be too much resistance because unless America is stuck on stupid twice, half them Republicans ain't gonna have a seat next year. So we'll see. But anyways, I'm like, Shawnee, holla at me. Can you throw me about $1 million so I can get started? Let me work it off in equity, and I'll turn your profit back over plus interest. Because I mean, California, hey, it's where it's at. Oregon, Washington, D.C., Colorado. I think Texas. Come on, Texas, make it legal, so I can come back home. That's all I've got on basketball wise. Jackie Christie disturbs me. I can't guarantee that I'm going to always review this, but comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. I may watch. I mean, if it comes on after my favorite Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, I mean, I might keep watching. I don't know. But please continue to help me subscribe. See that button down there? Hit it. Subscribe. Because I need 1,000 followers. Actually, I would like to pad myself and have about 1,500 by July or 4,000 impressions. So help a diva out. Subscribe, comment, share. Be sure to watch. I have been Miss Sophia Diva. You have been all that. And I need to go find my purse.